Well, good evening. Welcome to a special annual edition of the Daily Deuce. I'm John Webster. My sidekick Gary Graves is not here. We wish him the best. He'll be with us back with us really soon. This time of the year, we are doing our preview as we always do for the NFC East. Before we get started, I'd be remiss if I didn't say hey to the main man, the producer, the traffic cop, John Pitt. How you doing, man?
Hey man, I think this is the first one we're doing with me being a Chiefs fan. This is going to be weird for me. So,
I will just say, okay, John. Uh,
like,
Anything you want to say about the Chiefs before we move forward?
how about them Chiefs?
Okay, great. Say hi to our audience, John.
Hey everybody, man. At least we got one of my favorite guests back. I can't wait.
Hey, without much further ado, our special guest this evening to talk about the Dallas Cowboys is the one, the only, and the newlywed, Dante Webster. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate that extra special intro. I appreciate that. I guess I am still newlywed. It's only been 5 months. So you're right. Yeah, that makes sense.
How's that going, man? How's that going? Are you driving my daughter in love crazy?
Daughter-in-law. Wow. You are such a nice man in your 60s. No, I'm not. We're doing well. Ironically, in alignment with what we're talking about today, we're actually going to Dallas on the 14th. We're going to go see Cowboys and Giants. So I'll get to go to
Oh,
Jerry.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, let me take a look at that. September 14th,
Yeah.
a 1 o'clock game.
Exactly 1 o'clock game. So we're gonna go and watch them play the Giants, and I chose a low stakes game because if anything goes south with Michael Parsons' contract, I think they can still win that one. So yeah.
Man, I hope you and Noel have a wonderful time. Hey, stop by and say hi to Karen for me, Karen and Austin, okay?
hmm No, I'm still saying yeah.
They'll give you a burrito.
I'm not even a burrito guy. Well, I'm not. I'm about to say I know you love your Texas style burritos. I'll definitely make sure I do that though.
Hey, man, tell me about these Cowboys. Last time we talked about them, they had a
hmm
different coach. Last time we talked about them, their quarterback was out for the season. Last time we talked about them, their best defensive player was injured, and their second best player was out for the season. The changes. Brian Schottenheimer is the coach. Dak Prescott has had surgery. Michael Parsons is having an argument with Jerry Jones. And Diggs, was it Trayvon?
Well, you were really being kind by saying he's the second best player on defense. You and his family are probably the only people. Well, his family may think he's the best. So you know what? You were very kind to him. I guess we'll give him credit for being a local guy. So you know what? Sure.
Well,
He has
you
a,
said I've gotten nicer in my 60s.
yeah, I was about to say because boy, second. You know what? He doesn't have a lot of competition, but second best is kind of crazy. But he has a very particular skill set that he makes work out for him. I give him credit for that. I always do. I won't take that away from him. But yeah, basically since we last spoke, a lot has changed, and yet nothing has changed. If we go back to last preseason when we talked about this, it was are they going to get a deal with Dak done? They did on the morning of the season. It took them forever, made 0 sense, and now we're no wait. Was it Dak? Was it Dak last year? No, it wasn't Dak last year. No, it was. It was
Yeah, it was Dak. They gave
ahead
Dak.
of the
What?
CD.
Didn't he get his contract last year?
Yeah, he did. He did because then, if you want to know what's really funny, it's the fact that I think what Dak's cap hit is 47 for this year, and that is more than Hurts, AJ Brown, and is it Devontae Smith? Anyway, that's how great the Eagles are at handling their cap stuff. If we want to sit around and just throw salt in the wound, but Dak's not leaving a single penny on the table. I give everyone credit for getting paid. So that's where it stands this year. As always, they enter the year with some drama. They never are one to miss that. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that it didn't seem like it would be better this year than the last, or that it's up until things got funny last week with the trade request. I had more faith coming into this year than I did last year. I'll say that. You know, honestly, maybe it's for the best that we now have a head coach who we know absolutely nothing about and who doesn't speak up very much. That seems to fit with Jerry Jones's thing. Like, he wants to be the star of the show. So maybe it's in Brian Schottenheimer's best interest to just be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and be nameless because now that's his name. Remember, as Jerry said during his press conference, he's now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, no longer Brian. So maybe that's for the best. But it's not all bad. I have more faith in not more faith, but I mean, if you look at some of the changes that have been made, just starting from the top, I don't hate Brian Schottenheimer being the coach. I mean, you
Look,
like. I'm
I was
not.
gonna say you took the words out of my mouth. I have faith in Brian Schottenheimer.
This isn't
I
Marty. But okay, yeah, sure, why not? He's not his dad. His dad's not coming to coach, so I don't know, but
his dad is not coming to coach. May he rest in peace.
yeah, not saying
Um,
he's bad, but just saying, yeah.
yeah, but I think some of what Marty Schottenheimer was able to achieve with Cleveland, Kansas City, San Diego, and even with the Washington franchise, I think some of that is going to rub off on Brian Schottenheimer. I also think that um, the bar is high, but the bar is low. The bar is high from a Jerry Jones standpoint. He wants a Super Bowl, but the bar is low because you all were 7-10 last year. I think there can be an improvement on the record. I think the schedule is more workable this year. I look at what you got. You got let me see.
So
You start
Philly,
off with Philadelphia on a Thursday night. Then you have the
nice.
Giants. Then you go to Chicago. You got Green Bay at home.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets,
Yep.
Carolina. I think that's workable. Then you got the Washington team. Then you go to Denver. Then you got Arizona on a Monday night at home. Then you go to Oakland. I'm sorry, Las Vegas for the Raiders. Then you got Philadelphia and Kansas City. Well, that's an easy game right there. You should wear out Kansas City. Who are they? Anyway,
It's gonna be a Christmas Day shellacking for somebody.
wow. And then they got okay, I thought that was Thanksgiving. No, it's not. Then they got the 27th.
Oh
Well,
wait,
it is Thanksgiving. That Kansas City is Thanksgiving. That's
I
a
think okay.
Thanksgiving
I
game.
got my holidays mixed. I thought it was the Christmas game. No, you're right. Thanksgiving.
And then
Oh,
and
boy.
then they got Detroit on the following Thursday. Then they have Minnesota, the Chargers, at Washington, and at the Giants. I think.
I'm gonna
Well, we'll
save
come
my
back.
I'm gonna save my
We'll
prediction for that until the end. Yeah, I
yeah,
got
we'll say that for the end of the show. But I think Brian Schottenheimer is being sold short. I know what you've said to me many times. If he's being sold short, pops, then why didn't anybody ever hire him before? And I get that,
in the
but
NFL is literally the nepotism league. Well, all of the sports leagues are to be totally fair, but his last name's pretty famous.
well, I think, I think, I think Schottenheimer can get it turned around. I'm not saying they can get him to a Super Bowl. I think he can get it turned around. I think he's a 3 or 4 year deal. I think Jerry, if there's not where they want to be in 3 or 4 years, which is a Super Bowl, he's going to bring somebody and get to the next level. But I think he can turn it around. I think the schedule is more favorable than it was in the past. So that's what I'll say about Schottenheimer. And yes, I am. I'm biased for Schottenheimer because I think the world of his dad, and I still look at what happened with Washington. And this isn't the show for, but I'll just say when Daniel Snyder let him go, it set them back 4 or 5 years because there's no doubt in my mind his dad was going maybe not get to a Super Bowl, maybe struggling in the playoffs, but he was going to get them to the playoffs. And at that point, they weren't going to the playoffs very often. But that's why I think Brian is he's a quiet guy. He keeps his head down. He works hard. I think he's gonna do okay, Dante. I think you're gonna be surprised.
I maybe. I just, as I look at this, you go to the Cowboys website and you look at the coaching staff, and it gives you the amount of experience each guy has, and I don't think I've ever seen 26 years for someone that young looking. So,
26 years of what?
coaching experience, just general experience, not head coaching, just coaching experience, 26 years. 26 years. So, I mean, at 26 years, he finally gets a shot Not going to say anything
It,
bad.
it depends on how you look at it. 26 years is good. 26 years and not a head coach? Okay, depends on which hand you're looking at, Dante.
It either says that you weren't aggressive enough to become a head coach or you weren't good enough to get the offer, but fine, whatever you want to say. Or maybe you're going with the third one, which is maybe he knew that he wasn't supposed to be a head coach, then why he say yes this time? But again, everybody's different. I'm not going to take anything away from it. Like I said, we too close to the season now. We ain't going no other direction with this, so I'm bought in on it now. Fine. We going with this. I'm all in on Schottenheimer right now. I don't have a choice but to be all in on Schottenheimer. But what I will say is, I do feel better about the offense right now. They have addressed a lot of the issues. I feel like Dak is going to have a bounce back year. Last year, even injury withstanding, he wasn't good last year. It just wasn't a good year. I have more faith in it this year. I think CeeDee Lamb will have a better year. And I think the biggest thing that's going to end up helping is George Pickens. I know George Pickens is questionable when it comes to decision making in terms of on the field stuff. Not anything off the field, but just on the field stuff. Questionable. He likes to fight. But it's quality. It's a quality number 2 receiver. Haven't had one of those since the first year you had Brandon Cooks, and even that was a surprise because Brandon Cooks is probably my age, if not maybe a year younger. So it is good to finally have a younger wide receiver 2 that's actually good. And him being your wide receiver 2 actually does kind of even things out and put everybody else where they need to be. Jalen Tolbert, yeah, he didn't work out as wide receiver 2. He hasn't blossomed the way you fully like it, for a guy that was taken, I think he was like a second rounder. But look at it. Between him and Jonathan Mingo, if you're trying to make one of them your 3, where they just need to make an occasional play, I don't hate that. And Jake Ferguson, hopefully he's healthier this year. They gave him a nice contract too, so I think he'll be improved. And like I said, I think having Pickens around will help to free up things for both of them. I think that helps. And Dak will always love his tight end, so I think Ferguson will be fine regardless. And the other thing that they did, they addressed that offensive line. When the Cowboys were in their heyday, offensive line was always a thing.
When they draft about 4 or 5 offensive linemen?
I don't even remember how many they drafted, but you look at the one that they got out there that's going to be starting, Tyler Booker, and that's what we're banking on. I got to look at how many they drafted. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm thinking.
How do you feel about Guyton?
That's the one where I'm still concerned. I'm not going to lie. That is the one that still gives me questions. That is the most important one because that is your left tackle. But that is the one where I'm concerned still. They addressed a lot of it. What I'll say about Guyton is this. Guyton had a good preseason last year. And if you look at Guyton's first game in the NFL, his first game was against the Cleveland Browns. And he held his own against Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett didn't have like some great game and tee off on Dak Prescott last year in game 1. Didn't happen. So there were signs. He wasn't consistent. I don't think he was good, but I mean, year 1 left tackle, it's a harder position. Personally, what I would have thought to do, and they didn't do it, so we'll see how it goes. And Tyler Booker, for all you're hearing, has been good. But what I would have done personally is I would have swung, what's his name? Guyton's a swing tackle, so I honestly would have swung him out to the right tackle, and I would have tried to probably maybe draft a left tackle who was a little bit better. I don't want to. No offense to Oklahoma, I don't want a Big 12. I don't want a Big 12 left tackle. You know what? Trent Williams withstanding. That's you. That is the one outlier that I must give credit to. Outside of that, don't want a Big 12 O lineman. Not really my thing. At least not from there. Not from what we're looking at.
You really want like a Notre Dame lineman.
Honestly, yes. I will give you absolute credit there.
Zach Martin.
Yes. Give me a Notre Dame guy. Give me somebody out the SEC. Give me one of them. That's what we want. Well, you know what? Oklahoma is now in the SEC, so you know what? Got to correct myself. Give me a real traditional SEC left tackle. If we're really going to do that, O-lineman, that's what I want. That's just me, though. So that's what I would have done, but they left him at left tackle. He's hurt right now, which sucked, but up until then, I'd heard that he was having a good camp, came in looking good, but we'll see how it goes. They avoided the worst with him. He didn't tear his ACL, so I think he's out for, I think it was like 4 to 6 weeks, and that was like a week or so ago. So we'll see how he looks when he gets back or, if he's ready for the season.
Let me ask you this. Your running game. Last year, you were in the bottom on yards per game. You were in the bottom on rushing touchdowns.
Absolutely.
You were in the bottom on rushing attempts. How does that change this year? Because Dak can throw that ball. He can spin it with the best of them as long as he's not hurt or injured. Mm-hmm. But you got to have a complementary running game. How do you improve that? I know you either got some running backs in free agency, you drafted some running backs. How's that going to work out for you?
I mean, the biggest key is going to be that offensive line needs to be better this year. The offensive line is better. That's going to help that running game. Now, in terms of the guys that they added, I mean, the free agency part, it's a lot to be desired, not going to lie. Miles Sanders got paid by the Panthers and then he disappeared.
So
Um,
are they like scat backs? Did you get yourself the kind of back I like?
like a big bruising guy. I don't think,
Yeah.
none of them are that big. I mean, I think honestly, the guy that you're saying coming out right now, maybe he gets early down hurt right now. Miles Sanders. We'll see how that goes. He wasn't bad in Philadelphia. He was not Saquon Barkley, who is. But I think I think he'll be fine. In terms of scat back, the kid they got out of Texas, Jaden Blue. That's gonna be the one where we'll see what happens with him, where it's like he's pretty electric, but he's a smaller guy, but he's quick. So he could be maybe it's one of those situations where and he's working with the ones right now while Sanders is down, and I think Javonte's either hurt or just hasn't been good. So they have Jaden Blue working with the ones right now. So we'll see how that looks. I think they do have some juice there. We'll see what happens. I think up front in the early part of the year, it's going to be a slog because as long as the two older backs are better are looking good, they'll probably start them over Jaden Blue. But I think maybe you get a switch toward the end of the year, or maybe you start to see Blue working a little bit more, and that opens up the offense even more because you're getting that electric player right there, and we'll see what happens with that. I don't think the running game will be as bad as it was last year. I don't think. I mean, one of the guys is an unproven NFL guy. The other two guys haven't done much in the last couple of years, so they clearly don't have an elite backfield. But it is some talent there, and we can see what happens with it. I think that the offensive line being better, and I think Dak having an improved year will help to open some of the things up for that offensive line. I mean, not for offensive line, in terms of that running game. And I mean, you got to remember when Dak went down last year. All right, cool. We knew none of these other guys could beat us, so let's load the box. They ain't running but so much, and I mean, not running but so much. They're not going to do but so well. So I think a rising boat lifts all tides, whatever that saying is. I think the improved offensive line and Dak going back to what he was in 2023 will help to open up things some for that running game. So I do think the running game, as far as like the stats, I think it will be improved. I don't think it'll be nearly as bad as it was last year. I'm not going to say that it'll be great by any means, but I mean, if you could make some movement up the bottom of the list to maybe get into that middle, I think it'll be better. I think it could surprise people. It's still going to be the position they need to address later on or maybe next year, unless Blue as a fifth round pick surprises people and outperforms his draft position. I still think it's something they'll need to address later. But for right now, I think it's something you can go into the season with and you can make it work. I mean, it's again, we're not Philadelphia. We understand that.
Let's look at the other side of the ball. The defense. You got a new defensive coordinator over there, Matt Eberflus. How's that going to work out? And hopefully, you're going to have back this guy, Micah Parsons. I mean, you tell me, Dante, what's your crystal
I don't think
ball
it's
say?
hopefully. I think it'll work. I think you don't outside of Khalil Mack all them years ago. You don't trade that type of player. You just don't do it. You keep those type of guys. They can. I get it. I know what the social media game is. All right, fine. I want to trade. Cool. You want to trade? I want $1 million. We don't always get what we want. They're going to get. Well, he's going to get the money he wants. He'll get paid. It's all for show. Honestly, as much credit as we give Jerry for being, well, not as much credit as we, but as much credit as he gives himself being this amazing negotiator, he's had to not overpay, but this game that he plays, it gets the players paid. In all honesty, if he wants to do this game with me, I'd be fine with it as a player. I'm gonna get my money at the end because think about it, everybody that he keep waiting on, they got paid. They got the money they were supposed to get. So I mean, look, Parsons is complaining right now, and then today, we'll just go ahead and date this today, August 6th. They talked about Aaron Donald said, well, if he came to LA, I consider coming out of retirement. Oh, okay, great. So now we're going to just sit around and we're going to bring in the other older players and say, well, man, if I can get around with Mike Parsons, all right, cool, get it. That's not going to happen. I think he'll be back with Dallas. He'll be running through that tunnel on week 1. I don't care what any of the other stuff says until then. I'm not believing they're trading him until I get an alert that says they traded him. So I do think he'll be out there. And as far as the Eberflus defense and all that type of stuff, I don't hate him coming in on the defensive side. I think that's a good, solid defensive coordinator, and it's a former head coach. So that definitely will help out some too with Schottenheimer not being a previous head coach. So that does, I think, add some more structure there. The Eberflus defense, They are known for takeaways. So, if they're going to be known for takeaways, then you do have the guys in the back. You do have the guys in the backfield who can do that for you. You have Diggs. You still have Bland. So there is some takeaway effort there. And the biggest thing, which his defenses are also known for, which maybe it'll help out, tackling. Cowboys sucked last year on defense and couldn't tackle. So you know what? If you're going to have him as your coach, maybe you're going to improve in that aspect of your game. In terms of I think it is. I think it will be good for them. Tackling, takeaways, I think that's like very key. And the years when they were at their best on defense within the last couple, when you had Dan Quinn, got a lot of takeaways. So if you're getting that part of your defense back, and to their credit, the defense did. I mean, yeah, look, clearly they bled points. They bled points. It was horrible. But during those weeks when they thought maybe there's a chance that they could make a run, like after Dak went down, it was the defense doing everything. The offense wasn't good. So, I mean, if we're going to just give people credit where it's due, yeah, they weren't great, but, fine, whatever. Maybe it is something there where it's like, okay, also it'll help them. Again, goes back to what I said earlier, was the rising tide. Having a good offense will probably help your defense out because they're not going to be gassed and have to go out on the field all the time. They help. So I do think that there will be like little improvements like that, which will also help defense. But no, I don't have any problem with Eberflus. I think that one will be fine. You have injuries that you got to watch out for. Overshown, he was one of our better linebackers last year. I think he's still hurt, so have injuries like that one. What did they draft? Not draft. Traded for, what's his name? Cornerback. I had to remember it because there's too much going on early in the year. Kyer Elam. He's been good. He's been good in training camp from what they say so far. So we have not seen any preseason football, so I don't know how this translates, but he's looked good in camp. So they've gotten some guys in that have looked pretty good. Got another edge rusher late in the draft. I wish I would have wrote this down because I could not remember his name, but you got an edge rusher late in the draft. I think that was around pick 40, who you thought could have been a first-round pick. So that was a good one. Again, I hate that I could not remember names, but they...
But they also made a signing. They signed a former Washington player, Dante Fowler.
Good situational pass rusher. Did they bring him back?
Yeah, they brought him back.
They brought him back? Oh, yep, you're right. Yeah, situational pass rusher. We'll see. He did good for Washington last year, but situational pass rusher. And that's what they need to load up on. Again, we're going into another point in the year, where it's like, okay, this D-tackle position in the middle of that defensive line, we need to see what's going to happen with that. You bought back, what was my man name who you bought back? I'm sorry that I have to keep referring and looking at names because I'm just doing horrible with this. Osa Odigizua, you bought him back. That was a good one. Mm-hmm. And the question yet again will be, will you get anything out of Mozzie Smith? Your first round pick from, I think at this point, three years ago. Well, he's going into the third season. Will you get anything out of him? That continues to be the question. So what happens with that? I think they do. I think they have the pieces there, and if you have Parsons, it'll definitely help. I don't think it's possible for the defense to be as bad as it was last year. So I do think that there will be improvement and they'll be solid. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't. Again, like it's the downside of Lou. It's the downside of the Cowboys. The roster is competent enough that I don't have real lingering concerns unless they decide to just go against the grain completely and trade Micah Parsons. I don't have outstanding concerns. I think, generally speaking, the roster is fine on both sides of the ball. If you want to take it to special teams, I am a little saddened that they let go of Bones Fossil. I don't know how much of an impact that'll have, but could affect things. We'll see what happens there. But
new special teams coordinator, Nick Sorensen, coming over from San Francisco, former defensive coordinator. Now, I think that's the strongest part of your team. Me personally, your place kicking and your punting, and your snapper, your long snapper. I think that's one of the stronger points of your team. But that only gives you 3 points sometimes. I know you want a touchdown.
Well, I mean, hey, man, you can guarantee me a kicker never misses. That's 3 points every time. Brandon Aubrey has been pretty consistent, so we'll see. I mean, and then also on the return side, Turpin's been really good. Kavontae Turpin been really good he's been really good for them on special teams and solid contributor on offense whenever they need to pass on the ball. So I don't have too many problems with special teams. I think that'll be fine. I'm not concerned about that at all. Now, knock on wood that Brandon Aubrey doesn't go out there and hurt his leg. But, I think that part is fine. Honestly, like I said, the sucky part of this is as much as they do all the puffing your chest out and just like doing stupid things in terms of how they handle player negotiations, this isn't a bad roster. But that puts you right back in the same position of you're now under pressure. You're not a bad team. You actually are built to be, I think, decent. I think Dak has a bounce back year. I think the rest of the offense will be fine. I think the defense bounces back some. I don't think they'll be in the top echelons, but I think you'll get back to middle of the road at minimum. So I think that you have a lot of the stuff in place. I mean, yeah, your running game, you'll continue to have questions there because you don't have a star, so fine, whatever. But you have those type of things going on. I think the roster is competent. I think it is pretty well built. Again, can you go out there and execute? Can you win? You're going to be back in the pressure situation. Your division just got a little bit more challenging. You know, but Washington's not sneaking up on anybody this year. You know they're there. You know the Eagles are there. I mean, the Giants.
And you know the Giants are there.
Yeah, exactly. Dak is on New York. I'm not really worried about them. But Abdul Carter is really good. So that defense will be there. We'll see what happens with quarterbacks. But the defense is there. So, yeah, I mean.
He got booed at SummerSlam the other night.
Which one? Who?
Brian Wilson. Russell Wilson?
I don't even. You know what? If I was them, I probably would too because I'd want something different. I think that's like he's not even. I don't even think he's horrible. He's just not good. And I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get into that. You know, I can understand it, but I mean, look, who are you going to cheer for then? Jackson Dart is apparently bad too. So whatever. You know, actually, I love James Winston himself. So yeah. Give it to me, man. Give it to me. You want to go by each game? Or you I don't even have to go by each game. I looked at it. I'll tell you up front. But I got 11 wins.
11 wins.
I think they'll win. I think they'll win 11. And I give you the one that I really think is going to surprise people. I think they'll win the season opener against the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the 6 losses. Tell me the 6 losses.
At least one of them going to be to Washington. At least one of them is going to be to Philly. Kansas City, they're going to lose that too. Let me see. I went through and looked at the schedule. Honestly, I think I may have had it at 12.
12 wins?
Nah, it'll be 11. I'm gonna give myself some space to be wrong. I'm gonna leave it at 11. Let's see. I said Philly, Washington, Kansas City. They'll lose on. So I got them losing Thanksgiving Day. Who are the other 3 losses?
At Detroit.
Nah, I got that being a surprise win. They're gonna lose at Denver.
Okay. That's a surprise. That's a surprise loss.
I mean, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. I got them losing at Denver. That one I don't think they'll win. There's 2 more that I think they'll lose. I know
I can tell you one right off the bat. I can tell you one you'll lose.
Go ahead. Which one you got? Because that's 4 that I'm at. Oh, Packers. They'll lose that.
I got another one.
That's 5. So I'm at 5 now. I got to think of what the other loss was. I'm at 5.
Coach Khaki.
Oh, Chargers? Nah, wait. Is that one at home? Is that one home? I think that was home.
It's home.
Oh, yeah. No, I got them winning that. Home game.
Coach Khaki going to come in there and do a number on you.
I got them winning that one. I got them winning that. I thought about that one, but no, I don't see it yet. It depends. By then, Coach Khaki's players maybe ran into the ground, so I don't know.
Hey, man, you know, the only thing left in his career that he has not done that he needs to do is go back to college and come to South Bend. That's the only other thing he has left to do in his career.
The only thing he hasn't won a Super Bowl. What do you mean? Yeah, that's kind of the most important thing. You can't. We're not doing this. This is not your Notre Dame. Every good coach to go to Notre Dame. That's not everybody's dream job. You said the same thing about my man Urban Meyer. You said that about him too. Well, never mind. But you said the same thing about Urban Meyer. Any other coaches you want on your wish list right now for a college coach?
Hey,
your coach is good.
Huh? I'm not saying get rid of Freeman. I'm talking about when Freeman retires.
He's not retired.
One of the greatest ever.
I'll be honest with you. It won't be retirement. It'll be the NFL. He'll probably get a job in the next year or 2. He had interviews. He had interviews this year, right?
Yeah, he did.
So
he's a very good coach, man. He's doing an excellent job. We got to talk about college on another day, you know, so I can set you straight between Notre Dame and what were you?
I'm doing Maryland. I'm with Maryland. I'm rolling with locks. Yep, it's something. It's
I like Loxley, but anyway. Last thing, well, first I'll say thank you for coming on. As always, love you to death. You're always a lot of fun. Give me a secret real quick, man. How long is Brock Lesnar going to stay in the WWE? Is he going to take the title from John Cena?
John Cena already lost to Cody. Brock, he's gonna be around till he retires. At this point, ain't no getting rid of Brock now. Brock there till the wheels fall off. So whenever he decides that is whenever that will be. But I can't even give you a time frame. But man, he ain't going nowhere. This is a steady check, and he got the cross. He did UFC too. So this is perfect for him. This is the perfect place for him. So they threw everybody a ruse with that one. I won't bore everybody with the wrestling talk. But at this point, he gonna be there as long as he want to be there.
Hey, man, always a pleasure. Tell Mrs. Webster I said hi. And thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on the Daily Deuce. Another great show. I'm always going to have my shoulder there for you to cry on when your Cowboys don't come through, man. But the thing I love about you, you're a ride or die. That other guy I got with me that I love him to
John
death.
Pitt ain't gonna be around for me to cry with no more. He said I gotta do
Nah,
this. So that's
nah,
okay. That's
nah,
okay.
nah.
I'll shoulder this one alone. It's okay. It's okay. You
You know,
announced your team too early, John. You should have announced it after they lost the Super Bowl, because then you could have hopped on and said, "I'm here for the comeback." There you go. That's how you timed that out perfectly.
well, he won't be around long because they are not going to the Super Bowl this year.
Can't
So
rule it out.
anyway,
I don't know, man. I can't even. We ain't even gonna. I'll let y'all do that one. I can't rule it out. They gonna be better.
hey, thank y'all for coming in. As always, watch some sports. Preseason football is here. Watch some preseason football. Watch some baseball. Continue to root for my Orioles. Watch some tennis. Watch some soccer. But above all else, just watch some sports and come back real soon. See ya.
Welcome to the Daily Deuce. I'm Gary Graves from just outside Louisville, Kentucky, and in Maryland, the land of pleasant living, in my home state, John Webster. How you doing, Big John?
Gary, how you doing, man?
Hey, we're in football camp season, college and pro, so you know I'm all geeked up. But today we're going to focus on the pro side and the team that's near and dear to our hearts, maybe more near than dear, but the Washington Commanders. Hey, I got something to look forward to with that team for a change. I never thought I would say that.
Hey, man, I'm going to tell you something. I'm excited to be talking about the Commanders. It's going to be me and you doing it today, and that's going to be a great thing. We're going to get into it real seriously. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm sitting here talking about the Commanders, and what do I have on? A Notre Dame hoodie. I'm just.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I'm old school. I got Redskins, Clinton Portis's old jersey. So
Made me think about it. I had one of our viewers yesterday texted me. They were looking at an episode, one of our most recent episode, and he said, "John, is that a Notre Dame jacket you got on?" And I went back to look at it. I said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "What's the deal with that?" I said, "Big time Notre Dame fan, man." So I forgot today we were doing the Commanders. If I said Redskins, I apologize. Commanders, I forgot we're doing the Commanders today. So I have on Notre Dame by mistake, but also no, there's nothing but love for me and Notre Dame.
all right. Hey, well, I have a question about Notre Dame. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and ask it now. Blue and gold or green and gold? What's your preference?
Gary, when you're part of excellence, the color of blue and gold and green and gold does not matter
Mm.
because it's totally about the epitome of success.
And moving on. Mm,
You started it.
Yes, I mean I got the answer to my question. Moving on. We are eternally grateful to Notre
Matter of
Dame.
fact, Gary,
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. But we are eternally grateful to Notre Dame for giving us one Joe Theismann, who brought the first Super Bowl, first of three Super Bowls during the 80s and early 90s. And now we move on finally to a team in the 21st century. I mean, it's been 30 years, John, 30 something years, almost 33 years since the Washington football franchise won its last Super Bowl. Um, and now we have a team this year. that is expected to contend, which we didn't say last August. I mean, that's just how far they've come. They came within a game of going to the Super Bowl with Jaden Daniels rather at the helm. He's back. A lot of guys are back, but then a lot of guys aren't back. I'm going to give it to you in terms of personnel since you're closer to the situation, and I'll give you some of my general thoughts about this team and where I think they should head.
Well, I think a key component this year, as you mentioned, is Daniels, Jaden Daniels. That's very important that he's back again. He's back healthy. Um, he is what they used to say about Reggie Jackson with baseball. He's the straw that stirs the drink. He makes everything possible. I think this year's team, I've said this to others, and I'll say it to you. It's a possibility that the Commanders could have a worse record and be a better team. As we go through this analysis today, you'll see what I mean. Um, One of the things that you'll find out this year with the Commanders, fewer 1 o'clock games. That means you prime time, baby, and people are looking forward to playing you. You are not everybody's choice for a homecoming game. I'll put it to you like that. This is this
That's a
is
perfect way to
different.
describe it.
This is different. This is really different. And we're gonna go through the schedule later on the show as well too. I think they added Laramie Tonsil as the left tackle on the blind side. I think that was important. I think that's a good move. They also drafted a backup offensive lineman to Tonsil too. That line has to be strong and cohesive. They have to be in place, and I think they will. They also added Debo Samuel. Debo is a what I would call Swiss Army knife. He can line up at receiver. He can line up in the backfield. Every now and then you can have him throw the ball, so he can do a little bit of everything. The key is going to be there, keeping him healthy. He has had a few injuries over the last few years, and we'll go from there. A key component, in my opinion, the most key component after Daniel, Terry McLaurin. You need to sign him and get him an extension. That needs to happen. As far as I'm concerned, both sides need to sit down. I heard a report last night they're off by about $7 million. One side saying about 24, the other side saying about 32. I think you find a happy median in the middle. That's what I think. But what do I know? I don't negotiate contracts. But I do say this. You need to find a way to have that guy on the team. Very much, very important. He's been with 13 different quarterbacks, maybe 14, I don't know. He's been a solid rock throughout everything, the dark days, the bad days, and the good season last year. He has been a producer under the most adverse circumstances and been a producer during the good season last year. He needs to be compensated accordingly. I don't get into people's money but I'll say this. Both sides, not just the Commanders, not just McLaurin, both sides need to find a way to sit down at the table and make this work.
Yeah.
That defensive side, John Allen is no longer there. Dante Fowler is no longer there. But they signed Von Miller. And then they signed, I forget the guy's name. He used to be with the 49ers, and then he went to the Jets. I forget the kid's name. They signed him. I don't, personally, the kid that they brought back from the 49ers, you gave him about the same money you would have given John Allen. So I would have found a way to keep John Allen. I think John Allen was very steady on that defensive line. That secondary, Sanders still, he's a really good player in the secondary. You got to get more out of Marshawn Lattimore this year. He had some injuries last year. Let's hope those injuries are healed and he's ready to get back to being what he was when he was with the New Orleans Saints. So we'll see how that's going to work out. I think they're going to miss Dante Fowler. I really do. Fowler went ahead and signed back with with the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll see what's going to happen. They brought in Von Miller. Von Miller said he can get out the bed and rush the quarterback. Well, we're getting ready to find out if it's that easy, Von Miller. And keep in mind, we're getting the Von Miller now, who is 36, not the Von Miller who was 31, 32, and wreaked havoc over the Carolina Panthers in the Super Bowl. It's a different Von Miller you're getting now. Special teams. Tressway, probably the best punter Washington's ever had. Going all the way back to, what would that be, Mike Bragg?
Mike
Man, am I
Bragg
reaching back.
and Reggie Roby too. Remember him?
That's right. Reggie Roby had a cup of coffee here with Washington, didn't he?
Yes, indeed. But I tell you, he was memorable during the time he was here.
Yeah, you're right.
That
And
thing about him, always remember, not only could he kick, but he looked like he could kick some tail.
oh my gosh, he was huge. He was
He's the
huge.
biggest
If I'm
daggone
not
punter I think I've
mistaken,
ever seen.
if I'm not mistaken, I think he went to college at Iowa State. Did he go to Iowa State?
That sounds familiar.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think he went to Iowa State. Rings a bell with me because my cousin went to Iowa State. So I'm not sure. I think he did, but he was a tremendous punter. Running back. Almost forgot about the running back. You got Brian Robinson there. You still got Austin Eckler, and you got Rodriguez. But they lost a little production near the end of the season. Robinson had some injuries, and he also had a problem with somebody called fumbleitis. So
Yeah.
you got to work on that. Rodriguez proved that he could be a punishing running back. I like somebody hits it up in there, that just hits it up in there, and that's what he does. So we'll see how that's going to work out as well. That's my take on him. We'll go over the record. I'm not going to hog the whole show, man. I want to hear what you got to say. And you showed me part of your jersey. What number do you have on the jersey, Gary?
26. Whoops, wait, hold up. Wait a minute. No, I put on, nope, I'm sorry. I had one Patrick Ramsey, if that
20,
helps.
number 11, Patrick Ramsey.
Now, you might ask, why Patrick Ramsey? It has nothing to do with Patrick Ramsey, it has everything to do with the number that he wore, which happens to be my birthday, September 11th.
Well,
And the person that gave it to me, had that in mind. And of course, at the time he gave it to me, Patrick Ramsey was the starting quarterback, one of those fine, memorable draft choices that then Redskins made during the 1990s, 2000s. And
was that when that was when Steve Spurrier was there? We're gonna pitch and catch a little bit. We're gonna throw it around.
yes, indeed, I think it was. Is that guy that decided he was going to pass the ball against a team that couldn't stop the run in Jacksonville.
I'll never forget the game, and we'll get back to what we're talking about. I'll never get the game. They beat, I think it was Jacksonville or somebody, and they had 148 yards rushing, solid win. Spurrier came into the press conference and said, doggone shame. We ran that ball like that. We should have been passing the ball around the field. Perfect day to be passed. So,
yeah. But that game that they went down there and lost to the Jaguars, again, who had the worst rushing defense in the league, and decided they were going to throw the ball, and then they got beat. And that was when I said, he was having a Florida flashback. That's all that was about. And
his whole career was a Florida flashback, Gary.
Yeah, even when he was at Tampa Bay, right? And San Francisco. I forgot he played with the 49ers before Tampa Bay.
All right, now, man, go ahead and give it to me, man. What are these Commanders going to do, man? Give it to me.
Well, John, I like your summation that they could have a worse record but be a better team, mainly because they're seasoned this year. This team is more seasoned. They know what it's like to make a deep run in the playoffs. Last year, they were playing with house money, essentially. And I'm trying to remember at what point did they said, heck, let's just see how far this can go. Maybe it's when they got to like maybe their ninth win or something, when they ensured a winning season. And then, they actually, I think they won a couple of games down the stretch against Dallas and Philadelphia. that I remember turning both of those games off and then seeing the score later and like, how in the heck did they come back and win that game? And that Philly game in particular, I remember that really, gosh, there's a term that you use to when you're really ticked off. Burnt was it something
Uh,
about your
they,
Spurs?
they burn a hole in my Spurs.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that was kind of the game that Philly said, no, we should have lost this game. I don't care if they're improved or not. And I think, I don't think they lost again. And they've got the Vince Lombardi trophy somewhere in Philadelphia. But I think that the key to this team, I'll start with offense. You've got to sign Terry McLaurin because all the things that you said, 5 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, steady receiver on a bad team. That's the whole thing. Before Jaden Daniels arrived, he was putting up 1,000-yard seasons with quarterbacks that I can't even remember. You probably know more about them. So here it is. He's got a dude that he's definitely got a connection with. You got to get him back in camp. As you said, somewhere in the middle, some kind of middle ground on this salary dispute. Get him into camp because you do not want to see him in another team's uniform. And you don't want to see, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but please bear with me. You don't want to see a team that struggles to have Jaden Daniels and Debo Samuel, try to work out a chemistry. That was a great pickup, one that I didn't expect. But if you're going to make it work, you got to figure out a way. You got to have both receivers there because that's a 1-2 punch where you key on one, the other one's going to burn you. If they don't sign Terry McLaurin, you are focused on Debo Samuel and whoever is behind him on the depth chart. And right now, I'm seeing guys like Noah Brown, KJ Osborne, Jacoby Jones. Um, those names don't exactly, jump out to me.
But
So
I will give you a name. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Gary.
no, go right
I'll give
ahead.
you a name that should jump out at you, and I think he's going to have a breakout season this year. You sign McLaurin, you keep Debo Samuels, and he's the second, the third person I think will have a breakout season this season. Luke McCaffrey. I think he's going to have a
Hmm.
breakout season. I think he will be if you get everything squared away with McLaurin and you got Debo Samuel and you get everybody through this preseason signed and unhurt, McCaffrey is going to play a big role this year. Last year was a learning experience for him. He took time to learn. I think he's going to step into big time production this season.
Yeah. One guy that they re-signed that I'm glad they re-signed him, and his position in particular is key to any team's offense, and that's Zach Ertz at tight end. And the reason
Oh,
why I say
absolutely.
that's key. Remember what he did in Philadelphia. Being kind of that guy that could pick up the first down, that reliable guy that could get you 10, 15 yards or something, or he could turn a little short pass into 10, 15 yards. That's the kind of guy that any team, that's the position that any offense needs. But Zach Ertz in particular, I'm like, man, when they got him, that was one that I said that that another good pickup. One thing I will
Mm-hmm.
say about this squad is that they know what the good talent is. They're not just putting out a sign that says help wanted. They are getting names. They're getting they got a guy that has won a Super Bowl, and Debo Samuel, a guy who has been to a Super Bowl. So let's make sure let's make it work and use them well. As far as running back, from what I see here, that Chris Rodriguez is listed fourth on the depth chart behind Robinson, Austin Eckler. And Eckler is another guy that I think is worth watching this year because he might be my breakout player. What do you think about that?
I think he could be. I really do. I think he had a good season last year. I think you just need a production from all of them back there,
Yeah.
and just matriculating down the field to get some first downs.
John, if you and I weren't college graduates, we think that matriculating was a dirty word. Yeah. But hey, but you're right. I think the thing I like about this offense is that they have the personnel to make the quick strike. We saw that last season with Jaden Daniels, and at the helm, and just really making that offense exciting. At the same time, they showed they can just move the ball, just drive the ball and score, which is something again, 2 seasons ago, I was thinking, well, let's see, punting team, get ready. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reality. Um, with Jaden Daniels, the thing I hope his improvement, where I hope he will improve, is being less likely to have happy feet and take off running. We know he can do it, but when you're of his build, as athletic as he is, that we could look at Michael Vick as an example. You put yourself out there and you're going to get lit up, and those hits take their toll after a while. I mean, he had a couple of games last year where he looked beaten and didn't, we didn't know whether he was going to play or not. He's got to be
Well,
more.
they finally admitted this week that last year he did have a broken rib. They finally admitted that.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and I could see that. All you have to do is look at a guy and how he breathes, to see whether he has a rib injury. And I mean, hey, give him credit. He fought through it, but you could see where he was kind of laboring physically to do some things. Fortunately, he had natural skills that he could rely on, and it didn't become much of a factor in terms of how he threw the ball. But you got to protect him. So, Laramie Tunsil, that's the guy that they need to protect his backside. But again, a guy that took a lot of snaps in college before he got to the NFL, that seasoning, that experience, that's what helped him pay off as a rookie. And I think now that he's got a season under his belt, he's got to figure, like try to find a receiver, extend the pocket, which he's good at, but not necessarily take off running, because that seemed to be his first option. And there's a quarterback up in Baltimore who does the same thing. I worry about his health as well. That, again, but at the same time, Lamar Jackson has become more of a pocket passer, and he's thrived. This is what Jaden Daniels has to do. He has to really be, just not be inclined to take off, because teams are going to have that spy, that guy, looking at him, waiting to light him up the second he crosses the line. And really, you can't have that. He is the face of your franchise. You got to keep him healthy. You got to keep him upright, but you also have to keep him unpredictable in terms of what he's going to do. You know, that's one way I look at it on offense. Defense, and again, this is one I'm probably going to ask you more questions because you are more familiar with the personnel. But I'll start with Von Miller. You're right. At 36 years old, he is not the same player. We're not getting the Denver Broncos Von Miller. I don't even know if we're getting the Buffalo Bills Von Miller. I think we're getting the Von Miller who who still has something left in the tank. He can call out defenses. I mean, he could still wreak some damage, but again, he's a guy at 36. You're not going to send him on every play. You got to figure out how to use him wisely. And I'm trying to think of a veteran linebacker. Wilbur Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of guy that I hope he becomes.
Hmm.
when they picked up Wilbur Marshall during that, for that last Super Bowl run, they got a guy who was seasoned, savvy, and savage, all of that. And I think that's what they need from Von Miller. I don't think he has to make every play, but I think that they need to put him in a position where he could tell and direct guys, to make those plays. Marshawn Lattimore, I want to see him. I want to see him be smarter on some coverages because there were some times last year that I thought he had brain lock and got beat. Really, it's like sometimes he gave up coverage and sometimes he was too aggressive. I know that it's something you really shouldn't say about any kind of NFL player, but when the refs are watching you and you get called for, for pass interference, those are the kind of things that you have to think about. You pick your spots. You can do it on just about every play, but you do have to pick your spots because they are watching him. That's what I'd like to see out of him.
All right. Well, Gary, you made some good points, man. Now we're at the point of the show. Dante, on our earlier segment today, said the Cowboys are going to be 11-6. Let's go through it and see what you come up with, Gary. You ready?
All right. Yep. Yeah. Let me call up the schedule. Okay. 11,
Giants.
11 and 6. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Let's go.
about right.
Let's go
But
ahead and see what you come up with the Commanders. Giants.
okay.
First game, Giants.
Win.
At Green Bay. Let me put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. At Green Bay.
Hmm. That's a tough one. Because the Packers, my other team, have some questions, I think, and that's on my birthday too. So I'm going to be watching. I'll probably have on a Redskins jersey and a Packers hat. That'll be my divided loyalty game. Um, I think they can win that one, but with a short turnaround that always affects the visiting team more, I'm going to say that's an L. It's going to be a close L, but that's an L.
Raiders.
Win.
Atlanta. At Atlanta.
Win.
All right, you got 3-1 right now. At the Chargers. Coach Kaki.
Woo, John, because and this is definitely out of respect to you and your boy. I'm going to give him an L on that one.
Okay. Chicago. Monday night.
Mm, win.
Looking at one.
So that's what, 4-2?
4-2. At Dallas.
A 425 game against a Cowboys team that has to prove something pretty much all year. John, I think they go down there and get that win too.
You say win. Okay. At Kansas City.
Loss. One of the hardest places to play. I don't, again, you're looking at a Chiefs team that has something to prove this season after just getting boat raced by Philadelphia in the Super Bowl.
Seattle.
Win.
Detroit.
Loss.
Miami. In Madrid.
Oh boy, that's right. A W. That's a win there.
Denver.
Win.
At Minnesota.
Loss.
At the Giants.
Win.
Philadelphia. Home on a Saturday.
That's a Saturday? Wow. That's a loss.
Dallas at home on Christmas Day.
A loss.
At Philadelphia.
I'm going to say win.
Let's add this up real quick, Gary. What'd you come up with? Let's
Let's
see.
see. I think
1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4, 8-5, 9-5, 9-6, 9-7, 10-7.
but they will be a better team.
Yeah, they'll be a better team with a worse record. That's a hard schedule, man. That's a
Yeah,
hard schedule, man.
it really is. And again, last year they were able to win that many games because they snuck up on teams. Nobody saw it coming. They couldn't figure out how to stop Jaden Daniels. Now they know, now they know what he can do. Now they know what this team can do. They gear up for the best team. I mean, opponents gear up for the best teams. 10-7. Yeah, that's not going to win the East. I'll just say that right now. But I think that there'll be a playoff team that will be better and more seasoned. And of course, John, one game really can make a difference. The difference between 10-7 and 11-6 against that schedule really makes a difference. You win 11 games against that schedule, I think you got a chance to go all the way. But if you're 10-7 against that schedule and you're competitive, I still think they've got a chance. Only problem is they might have to go on the road for a playoff game. At 11-5, there's a chance they could, 11-6, there's a chance they could win the division and maybe host one playoff game. The key for them is to get to 11-6 or better and try to host a playoff game. Otherwise, again, they're going to really have to show, much like last year, what they're like on the road. And for teams like I'll go to sorry about that. For teams like Detroit, which has something to prove, Dallas, which has something to prove. Let's see, I think, yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, which have something to prove. They're going to be playing, what, slobber knocker football against Washington, to use another one of your favorite terms.
Well, Gary, Dante has taken care of the Cowboys. You and I have just done the Washington Commanders. Coming up on our next episode, we're going to have the preview for the Giants and the Eagles. So with that being said, go ahead and take us home.
All right. Well, as we tape this, it's the beginning of preseason. I watched a couple of games last night. I think we'll see not so much what Washington will do this season, from these games. I think you'll know, what their bench will look like, what their reserves will look like, because that's essentially what preseason is, especially with 3 games. Having said that, okay, see, Jaden Daniels is not playing in this preseason opener, correct?
As far as I know, they're going to go with mostly second stringers. That's my understanding.
Yeah. I mean, if you get him in a game or something, maybe one series, maybe 2 series to see how he directs the offense. But we can look forward to seeing who the other guys will be in this preseason, this 3-game preseason. We see we've got that. What else we have coming up? Oh, John, we've got a warm up for the U.S. Open tennis. Let's see, we still have WNBA, and now we'll have a Washington Mystics team that will look drastically different since they've traded away several players this week. But folks, watch sports. You got plenty of choices, but most importantly, come back and watch us.
Hey, again, thank you to Dante for doing the review for the Dallas Cowboys. Gary, thank you for being here and giving us this review for the Washington Commanders. Like we say, watch some football, watch some baseball, watch it and pray for more Orioles. Watch some tennis, watch some boxing, but above all else, just watch some sports. Come back and see us. Take care.